Hey there ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bearded Gamer, and today we'll be looking at 5 great classic games that have been remade or remastered using modern technology and are actually worth playing again. There are many games that have been remade, remastered, enhanced, but not all have succeeded in creating an experience equal or better than the originals. Just some clarification on what each of these terms mean before we get started. A remake is when a game is built again from scratch using a new graphics engine, different voice actors, many times different gameplay, and basically different everything except the storyline. When remaking a game, the goal is to live through a game story again, but with today's standards in gaming technology. A remaster is essentially an updated version of the original game, where in most cases you get higher resolution textures, better sound quality, more options to tweak the graphics, but it's essentially the same game. There are cases where remasters fail to improve on the original, either because the original was already of real high quality, or the developers didn't do much of a job. For example, check out comparison videos of Fahrenheit Indigo Prophecy. You can't tell which is the original and which is the remastered one. An enhanced version of a game is basically the original game with mainly visual upgrades and with any extra content released after the original game, such as DLC, embedded. Today, we'll be looking at games that fit in the first 2 categories and are playable on the PC.
Secret passage. This is all too easy.
Day of the Tentacle was one of the first gaming experiences I had in my life. I remember copying it on a floppy disk from a friend. Floppy disks. Remember those? With their whopping 1.44 megabytes of space? Back in 1993, CDs weren't mainstream yet, so people had to rely on floppies. You booted up your PC with its Intel i3-86 10 MHz CPU with 2 megabytes of RAM, run a few DOS commands, and voila! The LucasArts logo, the intro sequence, and you're ready to embark on a great journey that includes time travel, comedy, and lots of random clicking on the screen. Point and click games were pretty big back then, and Day of the Tentacle, which from now on I will refer to as DOT, was one of the best. It's the sequel of the game Maniac Mansion, which would be featured instead of DOT had it been remade. You take control of 3 characters, Bernard, Hoagie, and Laverne, who are stuck in different periods in history, and by solving various puzzles you try to find a way to put an end to the Purple Tentacle's attempts at world domination. The remake is the exact same game, but with improved graphics, audio, and interface, this way giving you the chance to play a great classic and enjoy it modern style. If you're up to the task and don't mind pixelated graphics from 1987, I'd recommend playing Maniac Mansion first, so you're up to date with the game's story. You can find a link to download the game in the description, as it's now freeware.
Greetings, Turok. I am Adon. The elders of the
Beware, oblivion is at hand. You know what I'm talking about. Ah yes, the N64, one of my favorite consoles of all time. Although its competitors had started using CDs, which had obvious advantages, the N64 managed to squeeze some amazing games on cartridges that had a capacity of up to 64 megabytes, 1/10 of a CD. One of these games is Turok 2 Seeds of Evil, where you play as Turok, a hero sent to stop a super powerful alien, the Primogen, from escaping its prison for the reason that said escape would cause shockwaves so powerful that they would destroy the entire universe. This almighty alien was imprisoned in its own ship after attempting to witness the creation of the universe. Considering the computing power at the time and the limited capacity of the console's cartridges, the graphics and effects were pretty awesome, and the fast-paced soundtrack was perfect for the also fast-paced gameplay. Not only that, but the arsenal available to Turok made it really satisfying to murder your enemies with. Hint hint, cerebral bore. By the way, if you're wondering why there's an N64 game on this list, this channel being a PC gaming channel and all that, it's because the remake of Turok is available on PC via Steam, and if you had the luck nay, the honor of owning an N64 back in the day and playing Turok 2, you will have a nice nostalgia trip giving it another go with its updated graphics and audio. Well played, Iguana Entertainment and Night Dive Studios. Well played. Being addicted to the TV show Ducktales when I was a kid meant I just had to play the game as well. I remember I spent more time on my cousin's nest than he did. The Super Mario series was Nintendo's flagship title, but Ducktales was a worthy competitor at the time. Not sales-wise, since each of the Mario games sold a lot more copies than Ducktales' 1.67 million, but as far as how good a game it was. Upbeat music, fun responsive gameplay, and characters that most already knew and loved. All these things combined with a simple quest: collect exotic treasure from around the world. You get to visit the Himalayas, the Amazon, African mines, Transylvania, and even the moon. Using his stick as a pogo stick, Scrooge McDuck, the game's protagonist, can jump around the levels, hitting the enemies from the top, reaching higher up areas, and jumping over all sorts of other hazards. The game has been remade for the PC, and alongside its graphical and audio upgrades, there have been a few slight modifications that don't actually change anything from the original, but instead enhance it. It's a rather short game, so if you don't want to shell out 14 euros for it, add it to your wish list and get it when it's on discount.
Just as I had in mind.
Good morning and welcome to the Black Mesa Transit System. This automated train is provided for the security and convenience of the Black Mesa Research Facility personnel.
What are the chances that you don't know Half-Life? Probably around 0%. Still one of the most highly rated games of all time by GameRankings.com with a 94.02%. When it was released back in '98, it was something our eyes had never seen before. It had beautiful graphics, accompanied by a great storyline and great gameplay. At a time when first-person shooters were all trying to be quick clones, Half-Life thought it would try something different. And boy did it work. Well, since Half-Life 3 doesn't seem to be anywhere on the horizon, Crowbar Collective decided to remake the original Half-Life using the Source engine, and I have to tell you, they did a damn good job. Booting up Black Mesa and going through the facility on the famous tram ride with the woman announcing all sorts of safety warnings brought up all the same feelings I got when first playing the original. This remake was released in 2012 and obviously looks and sounds way better than the original since it uses the Source engine. If for some ungodly reason you never played the original Half-Life, definitely play Black Mesa.
I soiled myself. Run along, Freeman. I have some sordid business to attend to.
As far as futuristic games with great gameplay go, it didn't get much better than Descent back in 1996. Instead of the traditional FPS type of game, Descent 2 went next level by giving control of a ship with the ability to fly around in any direction. It was actually pretty hard to get used to the controls, but practice makes perfect, and the better you were, the better you'd fare against your friends in multiplayer mode. Split screen multiplayer on a 14-inch TV, might I add. But don't worry, you can now play online multiplayer, so no screen sharing and those types of shenanigans. Descent Underground looks way better than the original in all aspects. Although this is to be expected, I don't think I've seen a better remake in terms of how much better it is from the original. Yeah, the Ducktales remake looks better than the original obviously, but it doesn't really enhance the experience that much. And the Day of the Tentacle remake is the exact same game, but with higher resolution textures and higher quality sound. But Descent Underground has vastly improved graphics, much better sound, and much better gameplay, and in overall is just a better experience. Keep in mind, I'm talking about how improved the remake is. This doesn't mean I think it's the best remake of all time. Different people will have different opinions. So, what remakes have you guys played? Anything worth looking at? Something that's gonna bring back memories from when we were kids? What games would you like to see remade? Let me know in the comments. So anyway, that's gonna be it for now, guys. Thank you all for watching. This is the Bearded Gamer. Over and out. Oh, and remember to subscribe and like this video, okay? Okay, good.
I didn't get to be number one by backing down. Launchpad, I found an ancient coin depicting a nightingale.
You haven't stumbled across a pizza joint down there, have you, Mr. McD? We're getting kind of hungry up here.
I'm not even going to dignify that question.